Maybe a moderator as a mod. Okay. That's hot. Remove from call. More tools. More options. I literally don't know how to do that. Okay, baby. All right, where are we gonna put you guys? I guess we could put you in one of the many empty chairs. So baby is late. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Y'all can come closer. It's not like it's gonna be as big as anything. I want it somewhere where it looks like where shit. Damn, fuck. Hi, Mickey. Mickey's in here on YouTube. Yay! Hey, can you see it? Okay. She's probably gonna need to log in through the link. Actually, you know what? I'm going to. She said, "How exciting!" It absolutely is, and I'm going to actually put in the chat the link so that you can actually share, like, so you can actually come into our Google Meet. Um, Girl, I ain't never did. This is a series of new. She said it's good. She can see it pretty well, basically from YouTube, and it looks good. Um, I don't know how to use YouTube's chat. Chat. Yeah, sure, she can if I can learn how to actually put it into the chat. Can I do that? Huh, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Actually, maybe I can go onto my live stream on like from my laptop and do it that way. Okay, she said if you need the Google Meet numbers, I can run it through my phone. Y'all, I don't know how to do none of this. Kendall was the one who was like, babe, maybe you might want to do a Google Meet. Uh, so they could see the presentation. And I was like, what? And so I just learned how to do that. She said, okay, so I'm guessing she's offering to put it in the comments for us if I can give her the Google link number. So, actually, I guess I can, maybe I can probably paste it to her on Instagram. Okay, do you have it? Thank you. Okay, Kendall's going to send it to you through Instagram so you can pop it in the chat. Thank you, bestie. Love you. Thanks for being here. Bestie, it's crazy. No, we well beyond that. And that would be nuts. I ain't popped it enough. Oh, I can't move from the spot. I just realized because so I gotta be here. T. All right. Thanks, my love. I actually though might need you like right there so you can click through it for me. Thank you. All right. Do you want to introduce yourself? This is your thoughts. Okay. Damn it's crazy. Dang, we here now, huh? So we're a little bit late, getting started on CPT time. Yeah, CP time. That's because we were trying to make it a better experience for all of you out there on YouTube land. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay too, because there's no AC in here. We really thugging it right now. We're really on CP time for real. So we got every manner of fan blowing in this bitch. So I'm trying. I'm trying to project to the best of my ability. Please let me know if y'all can hear me. And by y'all, I mean you, Mickey, because you're the only person here. Actually, it says there's 7 folks in the chat, or 7 people that have come through. So if you are in our live stream, please say hi. She said it's good. Okay, cool. Good in Google Meets. It's good in Google Meets, and it's good. Oh, okay, y'all can hear. Okay, great. Thank you for being here, Lonely Talk. Yeah. So yeah, it's apparently it's good. So hi. You here for our event? Yeah. Awesome! Yay! Is it just the three of us today? For right now, in person, we have some people online. We have 12 people in our chat. Hi guys! You get a gift. Wow! Thank you. Yes. Thanks so much for joining us. There's a little notebook in there too if you want to take notes. Yes. I had gift bags, so you all get virtual goodies for being here. Yay! Okay. I think I have a pen. Awesome. Yeah, I thought of everything. Oh yeah. Well, great. So since you're here, you'll get to choose from our prizes. So we will do a quiz kind of halfway through the presentation. And shit. I was gonna say you get the books, but so pay attention. Okay. Pay attention. You got still competition. Maybe I can compete with the people on. Hey, you guys. Somebody said, Axio said, damn, that's a nice dump truck. Oh my God. You know what? Thanks. Listen, you know what? That's part of Black history too. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. We are here for my little presentation, my little special interest. It's called 200 Years of Black Entertainment. Yay! All right, baby. All right. Just get good next. Yeah. So it's being put on by me, Vintage in Color. Well, okay, my name is Shannon, but I've been known online as Vintage in Color for about 4 years. And that's me. And that's me. Hi. So what is Vintage in Color? Vintage in Color is an online platform that I started out of sheer boredom when I was living back home with my dad in a small town called Farmville. Farmville is about the same size as this room, and it's about the same population as well. So I started it so that I could have something to kind of keep me motivated and keep me going. And I was already doing my own personal research. I was already very deep into Black history, particularly Black entertainment history. And so I was just like, more people should know about this. And I started sharing my personal passion, my personal love of history. And I have built a platform of over 50,000 people between TikTok and YouTube who share that passion with me. So that's how we're here today. So some things about me and what qualifies me, absolutely nothing. I don't have any paperwork for this. But my name is Shannon. I am an armchair historian. I'm also a published author, which is a long story. But if you want to find my work, it's on Amazon under Victoria Lizette. I'm an old Hollywood and Harlem Renaissance enthusiast, and I'm currently a student at Wake Tech. I'm getting my associates in arts after 10 years of not being in school. And funny story of how that happened. So originally I went to school for business administration because I didn't believe that you could make money in liberal arts. Still kind of don't, but I don't care. At this point, I don't care. Um, and so I went for business admin, burnt out, hated it. It was a mistake, just like everybody said it was going to be, because English and history are my actual passions. So I dropped out, and 10 years later, I met my fiance, and she was like, why don't you go back to school? And I was like, oh, I really want to. And so the next thing I know, I'm getting a call from a lady named Lori who said that she was my academic advisor because my fiance signed me up for school. And so now I am in my second semester at Wake Tech, planning on transferring to UNC Charlotte for the African American Studies program. I'm a millennial. I'm 32. I do be cussing, and those are my sentence enhancers. I've never taught a class before, and I'm super fucking nervous. So doing great. Thank you. Oh my God! Yay! Validation. So why make a class? That's a great question. Y'all are full of great questions. So I'm doing it for the love of the game. What game? I don't know. To keep my passion alive. Like, since TikTok has been taken over by fascists, a lot of the content that was pushed on my For You page and that like my content has taken a huge hit. So like my views went from being here to being like in the pits of hell. And it was really discouraging, but I was like, this is what I love. And for me, this is, I consider vintage and color an ancestral art. So this is how I venerate my ancestors. And I can't let something like that die. And I'm doing it as a challenge to myself. I'm going to be taking a public speaking class next semester. So getting my head start. And also, of course, because I just love Black history, and I think Black history is world history. So what? Oh wait, go back. No, go back. So what can we expect from the class today? So today we're just going to dig into the roots of Black artistic expression, starting with pre-colonial Africa to the best of my ability. I am not a pre-colonial African historian. I'm gonna do my best. Okay. And we're going to do this by building a timeline of events that spans over a couple of hundred years of Black entertainment history, where we talk about the social, political, and cultural significance of Black entertainment. We're going to learn about some lesser known and more prominent figures of historical figures, and hopefully we're going to have fun in the process. Yeah. Okay. So before we get started, let me see how the chat's doing. Axios is being weird. You can sit a cup on that thing. What's happening right now? You might need to kill. Yeah, let's it's two people. Um hey Mickey, I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Can you just yeah, I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Do you mind kicking Axios and Boulder Bob, popping them on like just yeah, because that's nuts. I mean thanks, but also that's crazy. I was about to ask. Yeah, you good. You got mod stat me. All right. So, to get started, when we think about Black American culture, music and dance are definitely central and integral to Black American culture, and we can see this in the Black church, which is where a lot of our R&B, especially our old school R&B, your Luther Vandrosses, your Whitney Houston's, got their start. Um, Family reunions, of course. We y'all know the big five, the playlist. You got Earth, Wind, and Fire going to be on that joint. You got who else, baby? Temptations, Cameo, Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Sister Sledge. And you always gonna have a line in. So always. And then of course our social gatherings, and of course our institutions of learning, HBCUs. Some of the biggest events in HBCUs center around music, because some people go to the marching band, to the games specifically just to watch the marching bands. All right. So to me, when I think of the cornerstone of Black entertainment, and when I think of kind of the foundation of Black entertainers, I think of the griot. The griot is the original African storyteller, right? So the griot can be traced back to the 13th century Malian Empire. However, multiple African cultures have griots. Mickey, as my resident African, can you please confirm? I don't need to call you out, but she is. She's our resident African. Multiple African cultures have griots. Griots were human archivists. They were historians, they were orators, storytellers, and in some cases, they were also political advisors and diplomats. Um, it was the griot's job to keep a oral history of different lineages and genealogies of the tribe, political pursuits, different wins, folklore, traditions, etc., and then retell them particularly to the youth and to the tribes in general. And because they were able to recollect and recall these things with such clarity, they were trusted as political advisors and diplomats. The griot was revered and honored. It was a position that you were born into. And although today their political significance has lessened, they're obviously not really diplomats and political advisors. That the political impact is not as big now. They're still valued as entertainers. Their value as entertainers remains. And as we go through the class, I definitely just want us to keep in mind the significance of orators in the Black American community. Pastors, thought leaders, activists, politicians, even rappers all share this storytelling ability of recall and recounting. All right. So when we get to the middle passage being slavery, first of all, this image, fucking love this image. It's beautiful. It's so haunting. It's gorgeous. But the Middle Passage is chattel slavery. Obviously, Black folks are being brought across the seven seas to come do other people's work who had enough gumption to build boats and sail the seven seas, but not tend their own land, which is nuts to me. But that's neither here nor there. So when Africans were being brought over during the transatlantic slave trade, music and dance would take on a sinister connotation. So, of course, Africans were dying during this deadly passage, and the European doctors uh, diagnosed them as dying from something called nostalgic melancholy. They were like, "Oh, they're sad. They're sad. They just want. They're dying from broken hearts," which might have been true, but it was also the absolute horrid, unhygienic, disgusting conditions that they were being forced to live in and being, squished like sardines into a boat. But historically, European doctors and scientists have always been shit at diagnosing things. Let's keep in mind, these are the same people that almost persecuted a man because he said, "Hey, we should start washing our hands between handling cadavers and handling newborn babies. They'll stop dying." And they were like, "No, fuck you." Um, but I digress. I'm sorry, it's funny to me. But I digress. So the cure for this, their recommended cure, was something called dancing the slave. And dancing the slave was a period of time where they would bring the Africans above board uh, in order to basically, they would prompt them, encourage them to play their traditional songs and music. So they would encourage them to do their drumming and play their traditional music, and basically force them to dance and perform and entertain as a means of curing the nostalgic melancholy. But in reality, it was just a humiliation ritual, frankly. Now, some of the Black women were already above board, not for their, their best interest or their health, but because they, the enslavers, wanted to have easy access to these women to assault them. So this is basically a means of like a sinister type of foreplay before they would sexually abuse and assault these women. All right. In one of these instances, and I'm sure there were many more because a lot of slave revolts actually happened on the ships. Slaves jumping overboard, enslaved people fighting their captors. Yeah, a lot of tussles happen on these passages. And one of these instances, a young enslaved girl refused to play the game. She just would not do it. She wouldn't perform. And so for that, she was tortured and killed. Sorry, YouTube. If y'all shut me down, you shut me down, but I'm not using play words here. She was tortured and she was killed. And this will not be the only time that Black women are expected to perform for the personal pleasure and amusement of white men. In this presentation, you will definitely see that come up many times over. So be prepared for that. All right, I'm going to check in on you guys real quick. Some of the languages. Okay, so Mickey, my resident African best friend, said, "Sorry, I don't mean to do like that, but anyway, she said we do. Some of the languages we speak are oral only, so there are history keepers, especially when it." And then she said, "Yeah, they especially can't diagnose when it comes to language." Baby, can you restart that so people can see the video? Yes. Thank you. All right, so we're into slavery now, the 1770s into 1850s. So even though white perversion tried to do what it does and corrupt black joy, it couldn't. And black entertainment would become a form of personal self-expression as well as political protest. When these enslaved people would come over and be forced to work on the plantations, they would still bring their customs from home. They would still uphold their oral traditions now more than ever, sharing stories of homes, stories of families they would never see again, customs, stories of triumphant war pursuits, celebrations, and happier times was a means of honestly just staying mentally sane. Enslaved men who were considered particularly charismatic, well spoken, or respected would be chosen to become plantation pastors. So they were responsible for spreading white people's version of Christianity, which, as we know, was a very abbreviated, abridged version of Christianity that said, I obey thy master, and left out all of the humanitarian and socialist aspects of what Jesus and his disciples stood for. But this would prove to be the enslavers' undoing in many ways, because obviously these black people were smart enough to be like, if this is a fair and just God, why are we being treated unfairly and unjust? So, all right. So black people began to cultivate their own culture. In this new unfamiliar land, black people are now trying to hold on to aspects of home to the best of their ability in any way that they can. And one of the ways that they're able to do that is through something called Saturday night dances. So Saturday nights would be one of the only nights that black people would be allowed leisure. And during these times, black people would drum, clap, snap, stomp. This was before they had access to many instruments. And they would just try to keep the sounds and rhythms of home alive. So there's a saying in the black community that is very common. It wasn't coined in the black community, but you'll definitely hear black Americans say this often. The mind forgets, but the body remembers. And you'll definitely see that hold true as we go along. So not only do they sing and dance on Saturday nights, but they also do this during the day as well. Right. So building black culture looked like a few things. So one of the things that black people would do when they would be gifted scraps of fabric or feathers, beads, ribbons, or things that they would find, or even little trinkets sometimes that they would buy with what little money they were able to come across, they would use these to customize their clothing. And white scholars would take note of this and say, oh, the Africans don't know their place. They don't understand their station. They're decorating themselves. They're ornamenting themselves because they thought it was unusual, because it was very different from the rigid class structure of Europe, where everybody had a station. Clothes denoted your station in a lot of European cultures. In African cultures, everybody had a different way of dress, different face markings, tattoos, hairstyles, the clothing, the patterns, the fabrics could denote your tribe or your social status. So that wasn't unusual for black people, but it was unusual to white people. And this morphed into Sunday dress. So when you think of church mothers in the black church and those big, fancy mother of the church hats with the flowers and the feathers and the lace and the veils, that is where this comes from. So this also looked like the creation of holidays and celebrations. One of these being Pinkster Day, which was actually a Dutch holiday brought over by Dutch colonizers. I can't remember exactly what theirs was about. I know that it was about like neighborliness, and they would take food to their neighbors and all that good stuff. But when black people got involved in it, it became about family reunions, because it was another leisure moment that black people were allowed to partake in. So they knew, oh, okay, this day I'll be able to see my family. They would meet up with their families from other plantations. This is in New York. Before y'all sit here and think that up north didn't have slavery and didn't have racism. This was in New York that a lot of this was happening. So they were like, oh, yeah, I'll be able to finally see my family. They would get together, have family reunions. There would be music, dancing. They would sell small goods and foods. They would play games, and it was, just generally a happy time. And it became so associated with Black Americans that this became known as the first Black American holiday, despite being a Dutch import. There was also Negro Election Day, which is the oldest voting system amongst Black Americans. So in Negro Election Day, this was another, I guess, I don't know if like the enslavers did this as like a means of like motivation or like, yeah, like, oh, let's make sure they stay happy. Here you go, guys. But basically, they would be encouraged to elect a mayor. So they would, the Black people, the enslaved people would elect a mayor, and the mayor would be dressed in nice clothes. The other slaves would be given sort of nice clothes to wear, and they would have a parade on the elected mayor's behalf through the streets. And yeah, white folks would be there, the planters, the enslavers would be there, the enslaved would be there. There'd be music, food, and the biggest part of it was regal dress. And there's a little picture here that kind of shows what that looked like. It's called Dressing for the Carnival by Slow. Okay. So New Orleans is definitely a central hotbed for Black culture, music, dance, etc. And one of the first places where we really see that root itself is in Congo Square. So Congo Square was a very small communal space at the very back of the parish where Black people were allowed to fellowship only on Sundays. And the Africans who would fellowship here were mostly of Angola and Congolese descent, hence why it was called Congo Square. They would perform a traditional music and dance, and the music, I believe, was called bambola. It was the bambola music. Okay, so because white people hate fun, especially when Black people had it, Congo Square was gradually shut down through a series of ordinances. So first, they banned Black people being able to play music. Then they banned Black people being able to stroll and hold parades. And then finally, they just completely banned the gathering of Black people for leisure and celebration in that area altogether. And they made it a private space where you could only play music and shoot off fireworks if you had like if it was for like a celebration. I don't know how, like 4th of July, something like that. Basically, it had to be
a government mandated
fun.
Yeah.
Basically. And the only reason they did that is because white observers were like, I don't like that. And the white people were like that. So that being said, though, the Bamboula dance tradition that dates back all the way to the 18th century still lives on in second line parades. The Bamboula rhythm, you can find that in second line parades and in Mardi Gras musical influences. Oh God, I'm tired of talking. Okay, questions? You have questions or anything?
I was wondering, so you're talking about Pinkster Day?
Yeah.
You know, like, where the name for Pinkster
Day? I actually don't know where it came from. I know that, like I said, it was a Dutch holiday first. And yeah, I don't really know the significance of that. That's a great question, though. Yeah. Don't know where it came from. I can look it up. You look it up, babe? Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, we'll go here. All right. Thank y'all for still being in here. She said, Akil, Mickey said, not the state mandated no fun zone. It was called Pinkster Day, Mickey. Got it. Okay. And you guys, if y'all are here and if you can't really see too well, I think up in the top of the chat, Mickey posted the Google link. So you guys can join the Google Meet if you'd like.
Okay, it's a variation of the Dutch word Pinkstering, meaning Pentecost. So like Pentecostal.
So basically, it was a religious holiday.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's see. I don't want to mess nothing up. I just
What do you mean?
shit. Go back. No.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just.
Yeah. I was just gonna see if anybody was in the Google Meet. Probably not.
You can just check here.
I can't tell.
People, people.
Just us.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
But if they wanted to join, they could see better.
So if you guys want to actually be able to see better, you can join from the Google Meet link. Thank you for posting it, Mickey. W's in the chat for my moderator.
What about me?
W's in the chat for my fiance. W's in the chat for what's your name?
My name's Noah.
Noah. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
For
Actually,
Noah.
W's in the chat for Noah, y'all.
Thank you.
And actually, can I ask you like what made you want to take the class, and also like what's your favorite part of history or favorite historical moment?
Yeah, I just saw it on the Roma calendar today.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was out of town, so I was like, I love the Roma events, so I saw it on the Roma calendar. What's my favorite part of history? I don't know. There's a lot of history to
Yeah.
to have as your favorite. I don't know if I could pick just one.
No, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
I'm guessing this is your favorite part of history.
Yes. Yeah. What
Do you
about
have
you?
like a themed favorite thing?
Oh,
Like
what about
her
historical
favorite theme
figures?
is entertainment,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of entertainment. So do you have like a theme to what you like in history?
I don't know. I feel like if you present it the right way, like any part of history can be interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I completely
Yeah.
agree. I'm like a politics history type.
Yeah,
And I know people who are into like war history, which could play into all of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would speak to my favorite. I like politics history, specifically the kind of like politics that explain why things have been made law. Like they turn from like just social category into actual enforced law.
Yeah.
And that's what I did my studies in, like learning about how we created castes in the United States just based off of pretty much white discomfort
Mhm.
and how whiteness itself as a concept was like made up in order to separate them from the enslaved that they wanted to enslave. And then after that, how it became a social class and then a race, and then now it's just accepted as law. In fact, even though it's a social construct.
Yeah.
So that's like one of my favorite things to explore, like how neurotic it turned out and how we can undo it. Like I
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, it's weird.
And then mine is so like Kendall and I are like we all combine our special interests a lot because you'd be surprised how much they end up overlapping. Even
Yeah.
though my special interest is historical entertainment.
Entertainment is protest. Protest is entertaining,
Protest is entertaining.
is it not?
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right. All right. And Mickey said, I'm a social history person. Yes. Thank you for the W's in the chat, also, Mickey. All right. If you guys are in here, just, pop in, say hi.
Is your
Oh,
girlfriend into this type of stuff?
hi, Paulette.
Yeah, I think she would definitely come to this if she was here. But, yeah, I guess you guys are having like 4 parts to it.
Mhm. We'll do one tomorrow, and then we're going to do another 2 Friday and Saturday of next week.
Yeah, she could probably make it to the ones next week.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'd love to have her.
Bring
Yeah.
your friends.
Hi, Paulette. Let us know if you're enjoying the presentation in the chat, please.
And tell her to join the link so that she can see the presentation better.
Oh,
Because I'm seeing both, like over here, if you want to come over here, I can see what they're seeing if they join, and I can see what they're seeing if they don't.
okay.
So
So if this is too hard for you guys to see, and you guys want a better view, then scroll up and just click the Google link, please. Oh, okay. Paulette says she's joining the Google link.
awesome.
We'll let you in. Thank you. All right. So now we get into the meat and potatoes of Black culture.
Hold on. I want to make sure Paulette can get in.
Okay, then. Paulette, we're gonna make sure you can get in.
Where's the actual?
You guys are missing out on goodie bags if you're not here in person. So here they are. They're goodie bags. Noah got one.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, here's one for your girlfriend too.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
These are
Vintage
What are
Jet
these?
magazine. So those are vintage Jet magazines. So Jet magazine was Not one of the first black magazines, but it was one of like the first black entertainment magazines. And I think the first issue came out in 1945.
Right around for the second one.
Yeah, right around World War II.
Super
So
I think it was like partially to drum up like black participation. You know, am I wrong?
I don't know.
Okay, well I think that's where mine comes in. I'm pretty sure it was like sort of pro, because you know black capitalism is a whole thing where they were trying to like create a subsect of capitalism in which black people can actually thrive at the time. And I'm pretty sure Jet Magazine was sort of like a black derivative of trying to get nationalistic support.
Oh yeah, to get like
If-
drum up war support.
Yeah, I think that might be where the name Jet came from. But that I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it like sponsored by the government?
No,
No.
this
Like,
this was completely founded by a black man who had a publishing company. So him and his wife, they published it together.
Mhm.
And am I okay? Wait, or am I thinking about Ebony magazine? I think Ebony magazine, the wife became a makeup mogul. Jet magazine, he and his wife did this. They made this magazine. You asked another question too that was good before that.
oh, just about the government. Because I was just thinking about like you said that it was like to drum up like support for the war, but it was
Yeah.
sponsored by this man and his wife.
Yeah.
So they were just like, I guess like very like pro World War II.
No.
I have to see. I'm checking my facts really quick. I might be mixing it up, but from what I can tell, it's been
And hey babe, can you see when it was published? Because I'm pretty sure it was the early. It was like you said, World War II.
51. So I'm thinking they might want to go to
Okay, 51.
Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. By John H. Johnson of the Johnson Publishing Company. Yes.
Mm.
Yep.
News magazine.
I know a little bit of something. I ain't got my paperwork yet, but I know.
You're on the way. Got you.
Yeah. But yeah, the first one was published in 51. And so I got these from, you definitely need to go to News Agents downtown. It's a vintage bookstore. So they have like vintage books, vintage magazines, records, cassettes, VHS tapes, like all that, like cool stuff. That's where I got it. I was going to get you guys Jets from the 70s,
Yeah.
but they were much more expensive.
Yeah. What was the place called?
It's called News Agents. We love that place. It's okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so it was for black representation
hmm
to affirm their lives as
Try again, Paulette, and we'll get you in there. Paulette said she wasn't able to get in. Damn, it's hot.
I haven't seen her join yet, so we can just go back to the presentation.
Okay. All right. Well, Paulette, if you do try again, if you're able to come back, we will definitely try to let you in. Thank you for being here. All right.
I love the 90s ads.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's smooth,
Yeah.
babe. And then the old car on the back too.
I love it. I love it.
They don't make ads like this anymore.
They don't. They don't make cars like that anymore either.
Okay, no, this was the actually progressive one. It was founded for black representation, but civil rights
Mm.
Okay.
not the war.
Okay.
Jet or the other one?
Jet.
Jet.
Jet was for civil rights.
All right. Ready?
Mhm.
All right, you guys are jumping back in.
I can.
Thank you.
Can I?
Go to start slide presentation. The second tab. The second tab. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Share this tab instead. Did I do it again?
No, correct. Okay. How do we make that? Technical difficulties.
Getting our wires crossed. It looks fine here.
But
Not
up
a-
here, it's not. Oh, is that it?
No, no, no.
Okay, go back.
It's on the floor.
Try home.
Phone.
Yeah. Okay.
That's still gonna keep showing this. See, this was the one that I was sharing, and it's
So
fine.
maybe the one that we do stop sharing on is the one that we'll be able to actually make big.
Why did it find before?
Oh, here we go. Hit that.
It what?
Oh, what? Oh, bad. Okay. Oh, but it doesn't make it big, big. Why isn't it making it big, big?
I don't know. You just want to keep going?
No.
You want it to be
Hit.
full.
Yeah, I want it to be full size. I mean, I guess it's fine. You can still see it. I just want the others to see it as well.
Yeah, the others can see it fine on this side. See?
Okay.
They can see it fine with no tabs right here.
All right. It's just gonna bother me personally, but that's fine. All right. Well, can you still can see it, right?
Me? Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So now we get into the cakewalk, which is the first, basically probably the first truly like Black American creation made on this soil by the first generations of born in America Black folks. So the cakewalk is one of the first distinctly Black American dance customs, and it will take hold in the early 19th century, pre-Civil War area on plantations, and it was created because Black people can't take shit serious. So, this is a formerly enslaved person's account of how the cakewalk came to be. He said, "Us slaves watched white folks' parties where the guests danced a minuet and then paraded in a grand march. Then we did it too, but we used to mock them every step. Sometimes the white folks noticed it, but they seemed to like it. I guess they thought we couldn't dance any better." So basically, Black people were taking the piss out of white folks, and they either were too audacious to care or too oblivious to care. Maybe a blend of both. Probably a blend of both. But so what they were doing was mocking a European dance called the Grand March. The Grand March was like a lot of European dances of that time, where it was very rigid and stiff, especially by Black people's standards. And so what they would do is kind of exaggeratedly mock the way that the white people were dancing. But again, we can't take nothing seriously, so they would get so stiff that they would like do back bends and then start kicking their legs, and then they do splits and they do jumps and flips and stuff because we some fools.
Especially in the face of the oppressed.
Especially when we're oppressed, that's when we get the funny. All right, so go ahead, baby. All right, and this will lead to the rise of Black vaudeville and the chitlin technique. So, what is vaudeville? This is a great demonstration of vaudeville right here. This is an actual clip from a vaudeville show. Um, Vaudeville was a comedic variety show that involved a master of ceremonies. The master of ceremonies was usually very charismatic. Was usually a comedian who would do call and response and engage the audience while announcing the next acts. It involved comedians, acrobats, jugglers, dancers, singers. These were very adult shows, so there was dirty humor or bawdy humor. There were striptease acts. Fun fact about strip teasing, this is where pole dance kind of originates. So in these traveling shows, they would use at a certain point, when the family wasn't allowed anymore, the girls would come out, and they would use the poles to kind of do bump and grind acts. They would spin. They would take off their stockings, which was super scandalous. And so this is where pole dance kind of, and the strip starts to originate. And of course, the cakewalk was the biggest aspect of vaudeville, especially for Black vaudeville performers. Right. All right. Okay. So many people have heard this song? Ooh. Yeah, we get a song. I know, it's All right.
This tab is being shared. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
They want me to do audio.
Oh, they want to hear the audio?
Share this tab.
Okay, cool. I'm. Why does he have two little ponytails? I'm sorry. Did I share the audio?
Yes, if you're sharing the screen, then you're sharing the audio.
Okay. So, how many of us have heard this song here? Yes, baby, on the ice cream. So, I'm gonna let this play out because it's low key a bop for a second. Oh, 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 fuck it up. Okay. Okay. But yes, if you've heard that audio, that is probably the premier ragtime tune. So when you think of the early 20th century, the 1900s, silent films, that is what you think of. So that was created by a black man by the name of Scott Joplin. He would usher in the sound of the decade with his ragtime compositions. And of course, The Entertainer, huge, defined the era. Maple Time Rag are some of the most well-known ragtime songs ever written. Are you about to find a way to make it big?
Nope, I just shared this one instead so they can see what you're talking about.
Thank you. Scott Joplin, everybody. But yeah, Maple Time Rag, these are some of the best known ragtime songs that are written by a black man. So when you think of the Gilded Era, when you think of the early 1900s, the Edwardian era, remember that the music that defined this era was created by black composers. Well, my love. All right. All right. So now we're into the Chitlin Circuit. I hope you guys can see it okay. I'm so sorry. I always say the Lord had a case of the giggles when they made black people. We're gonna be coming back on at 6:30 tomorrow, Mickey. So the Chitlin Circuit. The Chitlin Circuit is black vaudeville, and we still talk about the Chitlin Circuit to this day. I remember growing up. You might not know. Do you know what Showtime at the Apollo is?
No.
That's okay. It's a very black thing. But Showtime at the
I thought
Apollo
it was just a New York thing.
No, yeah, Showtime. Me and my mom used to watch Showtime at the Apollo. The Showtime at the Apollo has been going on since the 1910s, 20s. And my mom would refer to that as the Chitlin Circuit. But basically, the Chitlin Circuit is a turn point for booking Black Americans in Black theaters and towns because, as you can imagine, it was very hard sometimes for Black entertainers to get booked in white productions, or it was very hard for them to stay in white productions. Because the big time gigs where, your Duke Ellingtons and your Cab Callaways perform were booked by an organization called TOBA, or Theater Owners Booking Association. But Black people, not so jokingly called TOBA tough on Black actors because they were treated terribly. They were forced to perform under harsh conditions, including being forced to work longer hours for less pay, being underpaid or unpaid, having their shows canceled without warning or compensation, exploitation of their talent, their time, and of course abuse and sexualism. Because why? Let's just sprinkle a little action on it. Just
Just when this was the impression.
Just one that's easily impressive. Look at all these pretty Black folks. Look at.
Let me know when you're done looking at him.
I'm done looking at.
All right.
All right. So, however, there were Black people who were interested and invested in protecting Black interests. For example, you have comedian Sherman Dudley, who would become one of the first Black theater owners in 1911. He would start buying up abandoned theaters and organizing H. Dudley Enterprises, theatrical enterprises. So by 1913, this would culminate in the first Black theatrical circuit where Black people could safely be booked and be compensated fairly. We would also organize the Colored Actors Union to fight for better pay, reasonable hours, better working conditions and accommodations, etc. And these are actual Black people from the 1900s dancing. Look at them. As good as 10 to run. Yeah. Some of the steps that they're doing, you may not be able to see it in this particular clip, but if you find this clip on YouTube, some of the steps they're seeing, you can see they're going to evolve into swing dance. This is what evolves.
I thought it was swing.
And yeah, it's not swing, but there is one where there's this couple and they're dancing and they're doing the
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, that's swing. That's
Yeah.
swing. So this is their parents' generation right here.
Amazing.
I know, isn't this so cool?
Next.
Yes. Okay. All right, so we've got our first Black superstars, these handsome gentlemen here. The one standing is George Walker, and that is on the bottom, Bert Williams there. The comedic cakewalk duo Bert Williams and George Walker were two of the premier stars of Black vaudeville. This dynamic duo had Bert being basically the first Black man to star in a silent film. The silent film was called Limekiln Field Day. Very hard to say. And it was unfinished and went unfinished and unpublished for 100 years until it was restored by the Museum of Modern Art in 1914. So you may be able to find the restoration online. He was such a renowned comedian that he was the first Black person to star in the Ziegfeld Follies. If you don't know what the Ziegfeld Follies are, do you know what the Ziegfeld Follies are?
No.
Okay, maybe you know.
I know what folly means.
Great. That's the start. Mickey, do you know what the Ziegfeld Follies are? Oh, and thank you. It came on Saturday Night Cable. Yes, Jerry, it did. Yes, and welcome.
Join the link, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry, if you want to join, the link is up above. But yes, so the Ziegfeld Follies was basically Broadway on steroids, whereas vaudeville was available to like the common man. The working man could get off work, pay a nickel, a penny to get into one of these shows. I know, right? To get into one of these shows on one of these little nothing theater circuits. Ziegfeld Follies was basically took vaudeville and amplified it to a bazillion. I'm trying to think of something now that's comparable, and I genuinely can't. I genuinely can't. That's how big they were. But basically, the way Broadway shows are now, with
When they go on the road? Like when Broadway shows go on the road?
No, like what's one of the biggest Broadway shows you think of?
Hamilton?
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Y'all know what the Moulin Rouge is?
Yes.
No.
It is not. Okay. Think pyrotechnics. Think mirrors that descend from the ceiling. Think
The Amazing Spider-Man Broadway show.
sure. Like we're talking, they would have giant chandeliers, and in each of the tiers of the chandelier will be women in half naked holding candles.
Whoa.
And elephants coming down the walkway. Like that's how big.
So like the circus.
So like literally like the circus meets the Rockettes.
My God.
That's what it was.
So
So that was what the Ziegfeld Follies was. So for a Black man to be invited to premiere with the Ziegfeld Follies was a fucking huge deal.
yeah.
He was considered one of the funniest men, if not the funniest man in comedy. And as a handsome, light-skinned man, he understood his privilege in a white supremacist system. And Noah, I keep picking on you because you're the only person here.
That's okay.
But do you know what colorism is?
Yeah, it's like judging someone based on the color of their skin, right?
Yes, there's a little bit more to it. So basically, the same way, of course, we have a hierarchy based on race. Within darker skin communities, like the Black community, there's a hierarchy based on skin tone. So, like,
You want to use this as a comparison?
yeah, so like this is a comparison. Even though my fiance, especially now because it's summer, but even though we look the same complexion, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the winter, she's at least 2 or 3 shades lighter.
I'm light like the palms of my hands.
Yeah. And I am this complexion pretty much all throughout. So she would be considered higher on the hierarchy than me because she's 3 shades lighter.
And if my hair were out, then I would have a looser curl texture and on that hierarchy with within Black culture, at least their hair textures are considered more manageable, more desirable. You can actually see the stretch instead of the shrinkage. And then that's considered like a beauty status hierarchy also in proximity. But all of this is in proximity to whiteness. Yeah. So the closer you get to white, which is light, darker, light with looser texture, then the more desirable you are on the scale of blackness.
Yes. So that's how microscopic it is. So, but I'm bringing that up to say that basically what Bert Williams would do is they would subvert the act. So as a comedy act, a lot of the times the darker skinned man, which would be George in this opinion, would typically play the punchline, the buffoon, the lazy, bumbling idiot or whatever. And Bert would play the straight man because he aligns more closely with a white standard. They would reverse this, and Bert would usually play the funny man. And he would be the one who would wear blackface so that his fellow performers, who were typically dark skinned, would have to. Which in its own way is a form of resistance and rebellion. Which might be why Booker T. Washington, scholar and political activist, said, Bert Williams has done more for the race than I have. He has smiled his way into people's hearts. I have been obliged to fight my way in 1904.
Oof, the words. You know how to talk.
And so this handsome gentleman here is George Walker, who would play the straight man. As you can see, he's dapper as fuck. My man is dripped out. That was George. He was basically a dandy in the late 19th century and early 20th century. Yes, my love.
Can you explain the difference between dandy used now and dandy used then? Because I think it's an insult.
Yeah, okay. So basically, if you were to be called a dandy now, or honestly, even back then in European culture, dandy was basically a homophobic slur. It's what they called men that were effeminate or gay. But in America, dandy referred to very fashionable Black men. And a lot of Black men took great pride in their dress and their presentation because it was a way to denote status, denote education, but they also used it obviously as a means of protection and, social protection. So for George, his presentation was extremely important to his act, but also to his navigating this particular system. So with his tailored suits, his top hat, and his monocles, George played the straight man to Williams' comedian, which subverted the colorist norms of the dark-skinned man playing the lazy buffoon in their stage acts. But this wouldn't be the only time that these two would subvert expectations. They would continue to do so under their self-made production company, Walker and Williams. And under Walker and Williams Productions, they would go on to pen some of the first all-Black produced stage plays. All right. And in 1899, George would meet and marry this absolutely gorgeous woman named Ida Overton, who would become Ida Overton Walker. With her penchant for choreography and her singing voice, she would catapult them into new stratospheres of success. Ida was considered the quintessential Gibson girl. So y'all may not know what a Gibson girl is, but if you've ever seen like this imagery from the 1900s, I'll share this tab with you so you can see. Gibson girl. Nothing crazy popped up on my Google, did it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, show this tab. Okay, so if you've ever seen imagery like this, have you seen imagery like this?
Yeah.
That whole archetype is what a Gibson girl was, and it was created by a man named Charles Gibson, who was a cartoonist and writer.
So it's their version of the Madden girl.
Yeah, it's their version of like the Madden girl, and actually
like a core.
Yeah, a core. Yeah, this is the aesthetic that women were supposed to aspire to. And so, despite the fact that she was not white, she definitely embodied that. She had the voluminous hair, and she had the gowns, and basically, everything about her embodied this aesthetic. So, her elegant updos and her elaborate gowns fit her in with the influencer archetype of the Gilded Age. It was her vocal prowess and dance skills that saw the trio performing for the royal family, yes, the British royal family, And Ida would usually be personally invited by high society women to teach them trendy dances, which I think is so ironic because the cakewalk was just Black people's interpretation of white people's dancing. So I just think that's really fucking funny.
Black people made it cool, as always.
And so Ida was dubbed the Queen of Cakewalk because she was so good at the cakewalk. And when her husband George would die a very untimely death in 1911, she would take on his role in their plays, basically playing the man of the shows. And like her husband, she was an activist for Black artists, and she was politically tapped in. She would hold many fundraising performances for Black children, orphanages, and Black dance troupes. And she probably would have been tapped to star in some silent films, but she also died very young. I want to say she died in 1921. Yeah.
She didn't even get the Roaring Twenties experience.
Yeah, I know. She didn't even get to go into the 20s.
She would have been a riot in the 20s.
Right? And of course, because it's Pride, we got to talk about the gay 90s. We got to talk about the godmother of drag of ballroom, William Dorsey Swan. So, yeah, yes. So, back in the 1920s and 30s, a lot of old timers pined for the old days because we've always been nostalgic. Nobody's ever liked the times they were living in. And so the 1890s, for people who lived in, were called the gay 90s because that was considered a happy, fun time, which is ironic because I think World War One, that was right before World War One.
1900s.
Yeah. So I guess maybe that's why they were gay, because it was before the war.
Yeah.
Turn them off.
Just after slavery, though.
They said the Black people have just enough. We have just enough, which is more. Everything's great. But little do they know just how gay it was. So William Dorsey Swan, who was born on a plantation and into slavery, would become the godmother of ballroom. And he would pioneer the gritty yet glamorous life of drag and ballroom culture. He would find cheap or free venues. I think he broke into a few venues as well, because what's ballroom culture if you're not somewhere that you're not supposed to be?
A criminal queen.
A criminal queen. He's there. And then he and the rest of his friends would dress in drag. They would have a huge party. There would be dancing, food, music, and of course competitions for the grand prize, much like there is in ballrooms now. Yes.
I was just saying he invented ballroom.
He invented ballroom. Yeah, this is ballrooms. Yeah. So despite being a frequent target, of course, of homophobic and racialized police brutality, Swan was very much beloved by his/her community, because I don't know what pronouns he or her would have wanted to use today. But he would constantly be bailed out by his friends, his employers, and his community members, and this included both Black and white people. Oh my God, we get to the Harlem Renaissance. Yay!
Probably take a break and ask questions.
Questions?
I don't know. I don't have any questions right now, but yeah,
Slap.
yeah, definitely interesting.
Thank you. Yay.
You want to see on the live stream?
Yeah, let's see how you guys. How are y'all doing up in here? Mickey said Cirque du Soleil. Yes, Cirque du Soleil is actually a perfect.
Yeah.
I should have said that.
Universal Circus.
The Gibson girl could theoretically be considered the first influencer. Yeah, that's how I feel.
That's cool.
That's how I feel about it. All
That
right.
would be a cool subcategory if you wanted to explore it in your upcoming semester.
Like,
First influencer.
oh yeah, influencer, the evolution of influencer culture.
I mean,
That'd be really fun. All right, thank you guys for being here. Definitely keep tapping in and leave a comment. Let me know how you're enjoying it.
Gonna check if anybody's trying to join over here. Okay.
I'm thirsty.
Get some water. You should have brought some
You
water.
thirsty? No, he's got.
Yeah, I got my water.
Noah's smart. Be
I
like,
think they have a big
They do.
thing over here.
they do. Be like Noah.
It's hot. but you
Oh.
guys got some great fans set up.
We were trying.
We
Really were.
When they were like, the AC is broken, I was like,
We looked at each other.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stay very long, are they?
It could be hotter in here. I think the curtains are doing a lot.
Yeah, we cut off the lights. To turn
yeah,
it
that's also helping too.
Not figuring out. Yeah.
Nobody in?
No one trying to join it here. I think they're comfortable on YouTube.
That's cool. I mean, it's only 3 of them. All right, y'all, we're gonna jump back into it. Baby, can you run it back so they can see the clip? Thank you. All right, so this is footage from an actual fashion show that was held in Harlem. A lot of like women's clubs, women's fashion clubs would hold fashion shows, and sometimes they would be filmed. So the Harlem Renaissance came with the influx of Black people migrating from the South to the North for better opportunities, better economic opportunities and job prospects, but they were also fleeing racial violence. This group would include Black immigrants from other parts of the diaspora, like the Caribbean and Africa. And then a lot of the times, these were first generation free Blacks, or even some Black people that experienced slavery, emancipation, and Reconstruction. So, with like all of these different perspectives, people from all of these different walks of life coming together, it's no surprise that there was a Renaissance, especially in New York. Prominent figures of the Harlem Renaissance movement were poet and novelist and activists such as Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, Marcus Garvey, Countess Cullen, and Olivia Walker, aka Madam C.J. Walker's daughter. She was also called the Joy Queen of Harlem. We'll get into that later. However, entertainers would really set the tone of this era. Yay! I love Cicely. So these handsome, funny, charismatic men here are Yubi Noble Sissel over here on the left, and Yubi Blake. And Sissel and Blake were songwriters to entertainers who met on the road, and they would combine their efforts and talents to begin writing traveling stage shows. And eventually, they were like, "We want to write something for Broadway," which they would finally get the opportunity to premiere on May 23rd, 1921. And they make Broadway history by becoming the first hit production written, produced, and performed by an all-Black cast. I'm talking, it was so big that there were people backed up out the door trying to get in to see it. They had that area gridlocked so that people who were coming to see the show could get there because it was shutting down streets. And with this, they would usher in the newest musical craze that would sweep not just America, but the entire world, jazz. All right. And some of our stars of the 1920s are the extremely handsome Paul Robeson, right? He started as a star football player in college and would be prompted to audition for Shuffle Along, Cicely and Blake's Broadway production. And he would go on to become a Hollywood actor as well as a singer. He had this gorgeous baritone voice. Matter of fact, we gonna find Paul. We gonna just watch some Paul Robeson. The gorgeous Adelaide Hall, who was a vivacious dancer, stage performer, and actress. She would go on to take the Lena Horne under her wing. And then the spiritual successor to Ida Overton Walker, Florence Mills, who she would be dubbed the Queen of Happiness. She would also become a cakewalk queen. And she toured internationally, and she was also offered by the Ziegfeld Follies to become the first Black woman to perform with the Follies, which, if you know Florence Ziegfeld, that man loved his blondes. And Flo definitely was not blonde. She ended up turning him down to create her own all-Black review that would go and travel not only the country, but Europe as well. And, of course, the biggest star of the 1920s, my girl, Josephine Baker. She's going to have her her whole own section.
Birthday twins.
Birthday twins for who? No, that's Dorothy Dandridge.
Oh, sorry.
Who's also on
Makes sense.
but she is Mickey's birthday twin.
Ah.
Because she's also a Gemini. Thank you. All right, so Josephine Baker is absolute beauty. Chanel queen, by the way. Like, you want to talk about influencer? She was Chanel's #1 sponsor. So Josephine was born in 1906 to a teenage mother and an unknown white father. And she spent most of her youth homeless, performing on the streets. However, she would join Shuffle Along as a comedic actress, so she was called the Pony. And as the Pony, her job was to basically come in. All the other girls are pretty and dancing correctly, and she's purposely missing steps and making faces and falling over and slapstick comedy. And then in the end, she nails the routine better than anybody else. And she became a fan favorite because she was so lively and spirited and so into it. Despite being denied the main part multiple times because of her age, her dark skin, and her skinny frame, the minute the star of the show dropped out, Josephine was like, "I'll do it," and they were like, "I guess." But that would prove to be probably the best decision they ever made because Josephine would catapult that show into major success and become the highest paid chorus girl on Broadway. And her dance prowess, her presence and charm, which y'all are going to see because we're going to watch Josephine performance, would win the audience over in droves. And she would be offered by the Folies Bergère in Paris to open the show. So, like so many Black entertainers, she would emigrate over to Europe where she was treated with much more dignity, much more respect, and relative equality. And she would become a international superstar, huge star in Paris. I don't have any slides after this.
Because this is the first class.
But let's watch a Josephine Baker performance. Is it still transferring? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, babe. You want to send it to me? Okay. You can watch. I want to watch the banana dance. Oh my God. I don't care. Is it sharing?
Yeah. Now it wants to be.
That's her. Y'all cannot tell. That's her at the top. Remember, this is recorded in the 1920s, so everything is a dot.
An unpainted version of the famous banana dance recently came to light in America. It was probably shown to cinema goers.
Lots of racial undertones. See how that bitch slid in? That was nuts to me.
Then she saw to it that Josephine was dressed rather more modest. She was Harry audiences. The setting is.
So she would perform this sometimes fully nude, and she would definitely perform without a bra. But for American censorship, she had to.
Stage of the Folies Bergère at a moment of music hall.
So that's Josephine. I'm gonna do this one too. Why? Because I can. It's my class. Do you understand what they're saying, baby? Okay. Sorry, my fiance speaks marginal French, and I just treat her like she's.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Oh,
But not.
1920s. Oh, this was 1930s, though. You can tell by the hair.
There's no postcards. They can't understand.
It's really hard to find translations of her movies. Yeah. The way that they shot her and costumed her, they always did. No, so I'll tell you the context of it in a little bit. But basically, they tried to civilize her. How dare they? Nice. Exactly. It's music. Like, she can't resist. Wait, did she know that? She doesn't work. So, the context of this film, I believe this is from Princess Tam Tam. Princess Tam Tam was a princess that they found some African jungle. Rod Rover tried to civilize her.
General African jungle because they don't care about that it's actual countries in there.
Yeah, they're like a general African princess from a general tribe somewhere in Africa. Named Princess Tam Tam, who they tried to civilize and bring over to Paris. And in this scene, she's just so overtaken by the music
That she goes back to her roots.
that she just reverts back to her roots and jumps on stage and starts dancing. I didn't say that Paris was racially advanced. I just said that they treated her with equality, relatively speaking. Relatively speaking. Okay, so the Paul Robeson looks fine. Oh.
It's trying to see if I emailed it to you successfully.
Okie dokie.
And also, if you're on a time limit, stop. Let
Yeah.
us know.
Or you can just leave. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna leave around like 8:15. When
I'll bet.
when did you guys?
Oh, it's over at 8:30. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're fine.
But now it's technically Q&A because you have to do the next section for tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. So now you get to apply for you get to win a prize with one of these books. Except for this.
There's no quiz.
Yeah, you can. Yes. Yeah.
There's actually like a verbal quiz right
It's
now.
gonna just be a verbal quiz, and how should I do it? Because he's the only person here.
I can compete with the people online or something.
Okay, Mickey, you wanna jump in and be a part of the quiz? She said she's got 5 more minutes. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna ask you questions, and
The quiz can be for fun. Oh, go on.
damn, I forgot to tell you like one of the facts about the facts. So, oopsie. Wait, yeah, keep going back. So for him, King of Ragtime, President Harry Truman used his song. No, I'm sorry, not him. For UB and Noble, President Harry Truman used their song "Wild About Harry" for his presidential campaign.
Oh, that's cute.
I know, right? Isn't that adorable? I just think that's a cute, fun fact. He did it for his 1948 presidential campaign. I forgot to tell you that. Political impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna ask questions, and you're gonna win a book. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. When was the cakewalk first popularized?
You know, I took notes on that, but I didn't write down the year. But my guess,
You can go century.
century 1800. That's the century, right?
That's fine. Yeah, that'll count. It's not, but I'll count it.
Was it 1900?
19th century, 20th century. was the answer.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
give you that.
20th century is 1800s because we're always the century behind.
Behind,
Because
yeah.
we're 21st century, even though it's the two.
So was it
Yeah.
19th century, the 1800s to the 1899?
You're confusing me.
Sorry, babe.
It's okay.
So it would have been 19th century, which would have been the 1800 to 1801 to 1899.
I always go backward. This is the 2000s, but it's the 21st century.
Yeah.
Right? 20th century is 1900s. 19th
Yeah.
century is 1800s.
Yeah, but it was started in the 1800s. Yeah.
I should get a book.
No. You don't get a book. Okay, let me think of another question. Okay. What was the name? Wait. What was the name of Cecil and Blake's Broadway show?
The Broadway show.
I don't know the answer.
There were a lot of shows. I don't remember which one was there, but
I only mentioned it once, so that's kind of hard.
okay.
You remember? Do you remember?
Cecil Blake's Broadway show.
Yeah, Evie Cecil and no, Cecil and Evie Blake, their Broadway show. I did.
Gosh, I promise you I did.
When you're under pressure, it's hard.
It's hard. Folly something?
Nope. That's okay. Who was considered the Queen of Happiness?
Wait, what was their Broadway show called?
Oh, Shuffle Along.
Shuffle.
Yeah. Who was considered the Queen of Happiness?
I remember her face, but
The trio.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I was too focused on Paul Robertson. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was Florence Mills.
I remember because I was like, oh, that's like Florence and the Machine, but not at all. But is there a share a name?
Okay, what's another one that I can ask you guys? What was Dancing the Slaves?
Oh, that one I wrote.
Yeah.
So I have an unfair advantage.
I think I also wrote this one down, but from memory, that's when during the transatlantic slave trade, when they would like have like the slaves dance as a cure to what was it called, like melon?
Nostalgic Melancholy.
Yeah. So the melancholy, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, I have a not so fun fact, but I know a thing about it.
Sure, babe.
In order to prevent them from trying to jump ship, they would usually put the adults chained to children. So when they danced the slaves, then the kids would actually get to dance too. But unfortunately, the adult wouldn't be able to escape.
Yeah, because damn,
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts.
yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah, thank you. That was a not fun fact,
At all.
but
No.
it was a fact.
It was
Yeah.
a fact.
I appreciate
Puts
it.
things into perspective.
Yes. What was the Gibson girl?
The Gibson Girl.
The first influencer.
Good job. Okay, I'm gonna be like 2 or 3 more.
Wait, but the context of the Gibson girl escaped me a little bit.
Oh, see, I don't remember why the Gibson girl came to be.
Yeah, can you revisit that?
That's okay. I glazed over it. But basically, the Gibson girl was created by this cartoonist named Charles Gibson, who was conceptualizing his ideal woman. And, just like every time a man thinks about a woman, it was unrealistic standards. So voluminous hair piled up, big titties, small waist, big ass. That was the Gibson.
Gibson girl.
And it was
The
based
original Instagram baddie.
the original Instagram daddy, the original OF girl. And it was based off of his wife, apparently. So,
Aw.
yeah,
That's kind of cute.
So,
I'd be mad as hell if I was his wife and it didn't look anything like her.
right.
True.
Oh, really?
Okay, Charles. Okay, who was the king of ragtime?
I could sing a song. Oh, there's someone coming in, I think. The whole thing. Let him in.
Any prize for coming?
Is this for what was the venue? Michael Phillips on It's like a show going on at 8:30.
Oh, Yeah, there's supposed to be a live music.
Here?
I don't think here, but
Room 30. Oh, this is a class on African American entertainment history.
This building is like called the Rum.
yeah, it's called Luma.
Yeah, Ruma. Look at Ruma. Yeah.
This room.
I can show you. I can get the.
Yeah, they did. There was supposed to be some live music.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they do a lot of shows on Fridays. But
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the.
Where? They do it here?
Yeah, they do it here. Yeah.
You want to stay for it, baby?
I don't know if it's. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
You said room 30 at the room of API. Much.
I did see that on there. This is hilarious.
I'm gonna look at the calendar.
This is what happens when you hold your event in a in a mutual aid space. Excellent history lecture at the Third Temple English Church of England with King Jefferson Clifford. Okay, so he's in the right place. He's just an hour early.
I can check the.
Wait, no. No, that one fit.
Okay, thank you, Victor. I'll screenshot this so that I can look into that.
Did we figure out where it was?
I'm guessing it is. I thought it was here. Yeah, me too.
No, I definitely saw that on the calendar.
But it was on the 5th. It said concert.
It's the last calendar. There's only these like the last.
Oh, it might have been last week or it might be next week.
It said the 12th, but I don't know. Yeah. I saw
Very
like some other show.
Ah.
Well, do you know like about room 30? Is there one like is there?
Room 30? No. Like this is the only room here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a number actually for the people who like let us use the room for our event. Maybe we could just call them and ask.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So
That's all for now.
I think we're gonna hang it up here. But thank you for everyone who joined. Mickey, I really appreciate you for modding. Thank y'all for being here, and we will be doing 3 more classes. One tomorrow for where we get into the Harlem Renaissance and the swing era, and then next week we'll continue on from there. So, all right, you guys, bye.
Bye.